Grouch Show, episode 12. Yeah, so the movie starts off with the kid from Cobra Kai. He's the I love Cobra Kai. I thought, well, this couldn't. How bad could it be? It's got the kid from Cobra Kai.
Yeah, man.
He's a true talent.
Miguel.
Miguel. So he was the lead actor. And
he can't escape the Hispanic roles, but anyway.
No, oh my God, yeah. They drove that shit home. Hispanic this, Hispanic that, tacos this, tacos that.
Tacos here, tacos there, tacos everywhere. It's like fucking Dr. Seuss for Hispanic group.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, very, very. They drove that Hispanic thing home, man.
They drove that to the casa.
And that's the thing too. Is like for like 20 minutes in the entire movie, they just spoke in Spanish. I'm like, what are they saying? I couldn't figure it out. So it was. To be honest, 20 minutes, I couldn't understand what they were saying at all. I mean, what are they saying? Why can't they have at least subtitles? I can't figure this shit out.
Anyway, so the movie starts.
Yeah, so the movie starts out is now here's already it's starting off kind of ridiculous. The family is like 5 members. I believe it's 5 members, and they're living in this one house. It's not even like nice of a house. It's a crap neighborhood.
Okay.
And they're like, we're gonna lose our house. I'm like, why? Because we can't pay the mortgage. I'm like, what? These like 5 grown adults. They almost have jobs, except maybe the grandma. She's like 80 or whatever. But everyone else, there's 4 people working. You cannot pay this one house's mortgage.
Hey, they're depending on Miguel, bro.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is they decided to put Miguel through law school, and I guess
pre-law or something.
He's a pre-law, so he's not even like he didn't get a graduate's degree. So he's like, I guess he got a bachelor's in law. I don't know. But under 4 more years.
And why can't he just get a job and help pay, man?
Like I said, there's 4 grown adults, at least 4 grown working adults, make the ends meet to pay the mortgage. And I'm like, because this is a Mexican neighborhood, and there are other Mexicans probably like, hey, you got to have at least 10 people per house to pay that mortgage. Maybe it's like a body count. Maybe like at least 4 or 5 more Mexicans in that family before they can make ends meet. That's what it might be.
Meanwhile, they're broke. They can't pay the freaking mortgage, and they go out to a restaurant and leave 25% tip.
Yeah, 25%. Good Lord.
The white waitress said, "Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this to pay my mortgage."
Yeah. And so and that's when the beginning of the movie they enter the main villain, which of course is Susan Sarandon.
Who is that?
Susan Sarandon has got to be pushing like another one, pushing like 80. It's so funny too. Like in the last movie we saw, with Shazam 2, they had another Helen Mirren, who's also another one pushing 80. I'm like. So my question was, I guess Jessica Tandy had other things going on, but she couldn't take this role. They had to hire Susan Sarandon. What is their obsession with putting these old women as the villains? It makes no sense. I think you want to be intimidated. Like, oh, how is he going to handle that? That's why I say, like, Shazam 2, my thing was, immediately this movie is a failure because your main villain is literally an 80-year-old woman. Again here, the main villain, Susan Sarandon, is intimidating as a freaking, a sponge. What? How is that scary? How is that going to scare? Oh my God. Susan Sarandon? What are you going to do, man? You guys are screwed, bro. Susan Sarandon is going to fuck you all up.
Oh my God.
No, man. So immediately I'm kind of like, pull myself out of the movie. Susan Sarandon is a villain. Main villain. No. I don't get why in 2023 they have to put old women as the main villains. I don't get it.
So Jaime, all of a sudden he finally gets home, and he finds out the dad has been, he had like a heart attack, or I found it really interesting that little scene. I guess they're about to lose their home or whatever, and of course the dad gives a beautiful speech, and he's like, mijo, it's the journey what matters, not material things. I had tears in my eye. You know what, mijo? Family is forever. You know who says stuff like that? People that are getting their house foreclosed on. Right? Oh my God. How about you go get a job with half a heart?
You want to talk about journey? In a couple of days, their journey is going to be finding a bridge somewhere to live under.
But familia is more important, mijo.
Yeah. Our family is most important thing ever.
I should have left 5% tip.
We still have that house. Had I left a 5% tip.
Mijo, don't ever leave 25%. You'll be out of a home.
Yeah.
Out of a casa, mijo. I learned a valuable lesson in this journey called life.
Those mojitos were stronger than I thought. I don't know what came over me to give 25% tip.
You know who threw us out? Was the white waitress. She owned the house, mijo. She was our landlord, mijo. But it's the journey that matters. We'll get there sometime. Somewhere. Over the rainbow. Adios, mijo. Now please go to work.
Now, let's all go to meet under the bridge.
Oh my god! But Jamie has a sister that looks just like Fat Maribel. I was like, Maribel. It looked like Maribel ate too many tacos. Encanto became disenchantment, man. Yeah. Oh my god! She treats the guy so bad.
They discovered this alien technology, which is like this blue beetle. And it looks like a scarab, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was a scarab.
Yeah. And they're analyzing it to try to figure out how it works, yada yada. So ultimately, Susan Sarandon's niece wants to take the scarab, the blue beetle, because she feels like Susan Sarandon wants to use it for nefarious reasons. And her niece wants to take it because she doesn't want her to abuse the power or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's not her father's legacy,
right? Exactly, not the father's. So she tries to take it outside the building, the corporation, and of course now shows up Jaime. Oh, I got to get this job because she promised him a job at this corporation. And I want to get this job. You got to stop. I want to talk to you. And ultimately, because he shows up, he kind of screws up to try to get out with the beetle. So instead, she's like hands it off to him.
But it tells him, don't open it.
Yeah.
Don't look at it. Just
right.
Take this and don't look back.
It's in like a box from like KFC or something. And so there's an alarm going off, and you cannot leave the building. All these alarms and the security starts. But meanwhile, this Mexican kid, don't worry about him. He's good. He's a Mexican. Let him right out. What? No, they had the whole thing a lockdown. How does this kid get out like nothing? Immediately, all right, this is ridiculous. The alarms are going off, and they let this one little Mexican kid. If nothing else, he's stealing somebody's KFC dinner.
Stop him!
Those are my chicken nuggets.
Ship him back to Mexico. Oh man, what a this movie was really, really bad, man.
It was bad.
It was just so.
I mean, this was
boring.
One for the record books.
Where's Margaret Robbie when you need her?
Oh, yeah. At least
nowhere to be found.
Zero eye candy in this whole movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was really, really bad. Anyway,
what happens is he gets out of the corporation building with the blue beetle scarab in that little container, and he takes it home. Of course, the first thing he does is he takes it home. Let's open up the box. What's in here? And then
everybody's instigating. Open the box. Open the box. Open the box.
Yeah, they're chanting. Open the box. Open the box. So he opens the box, and then the blue beetle gets onto his back. Eventually, it's in his back. So the blue beetle gets under his clothes and attaches himself to his spinal cord, and his clothes burns off. And I'm wondering, that's something too. Is like, well, if his clothes is burning, shouldn't his skin be burning too? Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe nitpicking. But you can see literally his clothes is on fire, burning off his skin. He's screaming like a madman. And I was like, wow, that looks pretty painful, but I guess not.
And the grandma was like, get some Vapor Rub.
Yeah, that's a big thing in this movie, Vapor Rub.
Hey, for Hispanics, Vapor Rub heals everything, man. They're like, mijo, you caught the blue bug. Here, have some Vapor Rub. Yo, Vapor Rub cures COVID. If by any chance you get COVID, eat some Vapor Rub. Just whatever you do, man, get some Vapor Rub.
The scarab takes over his body, and it forces the suit over his body. So now he is encased in this suit, which is kind of like a Iron Man suit.
It's all a ripoff, man.
It is a complete look. It's basically Tony Stark's Iron Man suit, but instead of being gold and red, it's blue and black. This alien technology fastens itself to his nephew's back, and it's infused in his spine, and he's like, "Oh, look at you, cabron. You're a superhero." It's like, what? That bitch is impaled by an alien life force, and it's like, hell yeah, you a superhero now, cabron. Forget
Actually,
that alien life form.
He said cabezon.
Cabazon?
Which is like a big-headed dude.
Yeah. That's his childish writing and behavior. This guy has been impaled by an alien life force. Oh, you a superhero now, cabron. It's like, hell yeah.
Make us proud.
Yeah. To be honest, many problems I had in this movie is it is completely devoid of any kind of realism, humanity, relatability. It's like no realistic human reactions. Like they're getting shot at, their lives are in jeopardy, they're about to die any second, and they're like whooping it up, laughing it up. This is the time of their lives, it's such a great time. It's none of this shit really rings true. What humans would react to getting fired at, to getting shot at, to their lives at any second could be erased. But no, they're having a grand old time, laughing it up, whooping it up. Woohoo! This is great.
Well, their lives being erased equals no more debt.
Yeah. I guess at that point they don't have to live under a bridge anymore, but still.
Yeah. So it is time for festivities.
It's just such ludicrous, nonsensical writing. The suit gets on him, and he's like, all right, we're going to test all of these features now. And by testing the features, that means slam into this bridge, go about 1,000 miles into the sky, into the air, atmosphere.
Create another hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah. So it goes into the sky about 1,000 miles, outer space. Okay, we tested that. Now it's come down and it crashed into that Toyota. Bam, we tested that. Now it's crashed into the side of this bridge. Bam, we tested that. Oh, here's a bus. Let's split it in two. We tested that.
Check, and check.
Yeah. That's like the beginning of the movie. I was like, what is it? You didn't have to cut that bus in two. You could have just flown away. No, let's cut this bus in two. We're going to test this shit. This guy's like no control. He's like a wet noodle in this thing. So literally smashing the side of a bridge, taking out half the bridge. Test confirmed.
Thank you for taking our test. You failed.
When he's running through these tests, this is literally how the movie plays out. Testing aerodynamics. And then it was testing flight path determinations. And then it was like
landing.
It was testing landing coordination. And then it was testing flight coordination patterns. And then they're like, and the suit goes, and then the scene where he goes, testing suits armor integrity, and he goes, bro, that was a movie.
The end.
That was a movie.
That was the whole movie in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
oh my god, it was terrible.
It was that bad.
Yeah. But eventually he returns back home. And then he's like, I gotta find out what happened to Jennifer. Jennifer's Accord's niece. And he wants to go ask about this blue, because he wants to inform her. He opened the box. The blue beetle has entered his body. And he wants answers, I guess. So he looks for the Jennifer. And of course, she's running around literally on the side of the road. And he's like, hey, Jennifer, come on the car. So thank you. And then these security guards start blasting and shooting at the pickup. So they take the pickup back home. And now they're all back home, and then she's like, we need to go back to the facility because I need to get a hold of this watch.
Because ultimately, they want to find a way to get the scare?
Yeah.
Yeah, out of Jamie's back.
Right.
Because they don't know how to detach one from the other. And so she thinks he can help him, if they can get access to this Batcave looking thing.
Right. But in the midst of obtaining this wristwatch, which is already so ridiculous.
Yeah. For your iWatch.
So she gets this magical watch, and as they're trying to leave, here comes the red scarab. The red beetle shows up. And
mad.
He mad. He's very mad. And then they start mixing it up. And the blue beetle and the red beetle fight. And then this other thing, too, is like the main character is a Mexican kid. And he has no control over the armor. The armor is basically doing all the fighting for him. He's just like a wet noodle just sitting there, letting him do whatever. And there's a fight between them, two of them. So then they're fighting, and then and something too is like this red beetle has his foot on this kid's head, and he barely even knows who this kid is, and he goes, "Family is your weakness." How does he know the weakness of this kid? All of a sudden, here comes the Mexican uncle.
Jorge Lopez, right? Jorge
Lopez shows up with his freaking pickup and knocks this guy, the red beetle, off of him. Yeah, it's just so ridiculous. And then the escape.
I think he's one of the... I don't know, man. Like, the most... I can't even describe this character.
Who, George Lopez?
Yeah, George Lopez character. They paint him as like a doofus, right?
You're right.
But then all of a sudden, eventually they do get access to this Batcave.
Right. So they get inside the Blue Beetle Batcave, basically.
And this doofus... Tell him, Grumble.
Yeah, so this guy, supposedly, obviously he's unemployed, because why can't you pay your freaking mortgage?
Yeah, man.
So this guy is like, oh, I understand this kind of technology, and this is like alien technology. He sits down and he starts typing stuff. Oh, it's one of those kind of computers. Okay, I know what I'm doing. And he goes, oh, this can do this, and they find like this spaceship, this Blue Beetle spaceship, and he goes, oh, it's the old series or whatever. I know how to fly these. And he's off. And this
I thought he was gonna change the oil from the machine.
Yeah. For a second, I thought he was going to, I thought it was a leak in one of the faucets. He's going to fix that. I believe he's a plumber, but this guy, all of a sudden, he's literally like a Mexican Tony Stark.
He just sat down and freaking was like,
yeah,
I don't care if this keyboard's not Hispanic keyboard.
Yeah. And he sits down and starts typing stuff and knows exactly how to fly the ship. He goes, oh, okay, this is no problem.
I learned this in Guadalajara.
Yeah, he goes, I used to have a power lawnmower just like this.
Seriously, oh my God.
Yeah, it's just...
Whack!
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And this guy, alien technology, he can sit down and know exactly how to operate this thing.
Hey, maybe that's why. Alien technology.
Okay, wait a minute. Illegal
delete that
Mexican
thing.
alien technology.
Don't say that.
No.
That's for our records.
That kind of makes sense. If you think about it, does this suit actually need this guy? Couldn't he just do all this stuff on his own? Why does he need this kid?
It just needs a noodle.
Yeah, he just needs a wet noodle flop around inside that suit. Really? Do you even need this kid? He goes...
It chose him.
Yeah, it chose him. Why? What makes him so freaking special? Just choose anybody. And it doesn't have to be alive. Just grab that...
It's because he's a Mexican that graduated college. Yeah. That's very special.
So special. It's so funny, too, when they're showing this kid and he's in the suit. They have, remember, I'm sure most people have seen Iron Man. They kind of, zoom in on his face when his face is in the suit. And he's kind of, giving commands and say, oh, do this, do that. He's talking to Jarvis, whatever. But this one, they're zooming in. This guy's freaking his two eyeballs. That's all you see. And his eyes over here, Oh. Why do we need to see his eyeballs? What his eyes are doing right now? I'm so curious. What's his eyes doing right now? I swear, they zoom in on this kid's eyeballs. Why? We need to see that. I have one positive for this movie.
Oh, wow.
I have a positive.
Oh, man.
The positive is this is 2023 now, and name me a movie in the last 5 years that is family focused. I do like the fact that at least, hey, this is about family. Families are important. Nuclear families are good. That's the one positive. I think that's refreshing. Name a movie the last 5 years where it promotes family values. That's pretty much the only thing I really say positive about this movie. And I appreciate that. It's nice that you have, okay, watching out for each other. This is a family. That's a nice message. I'm totally behind that. They overdid it to where it was like freaking cornball. But I still like the message. You know what? Family is important. And all watch out for each other. And I think you would have been better served to leave Granny at home. You could have had an able hand with a Gatling gun. You didn't need to give her to an 8-year-old grandma.
No, but yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that was a nice
right.
I like that.
The little familiar.
Yeah, that was
cool. Even
that
though that's what makes him weak.
Yeah, that's what he kept saying is, because you want to save your dad, you're weak. You want to save your father, you're going to die under my boot now. What? No, not cool. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing, too. I thought it was so funny that I would love to know the background of the uncle. What was the uncle's name?
I think, like, his best friends call him Rudy.
Okay, yeah, Rudy.
But, like, I think his name is, like, José María César de las Llaves Altas de las Montañas Bajas.
That's what it was, yeah.
Juan José
That's my
Francisco.
new one. Yeah. And you would think, you know what? You think maybe guy's probably a landscaper somewhere, but no. Evidently, this guy is literally like the Mexican Tony Stark, because he can not only can he like understand alien technology, but he creates his own little inventions. And he's like, I've been working on this for the last couple of years. Give me a couple hours, I'll have it ready to go.
Seriously, man. Ugh. Nah, but it was bad.
Yeah.
It was just so generic. Like, there was nothing special about the movie. If this is what DC's banking on, I'm sorry, man. Just give up and
they're done
and make another Batman movie. And
stick to Batman.
concentrate on that.
So then what happens is Susan Sarandon in this spaceship and her whole crew, like maybe 100 military special ops guys show up. They surround the house. And immediately I was like, oh shit. Again with illegal immigration?
They're like, oh, they're here.
Yeah.
Grab your bags, Grandma.
Like,
and Jamie's not even there. Yeah. Jaime is back in the Batcave or whatever.
He's in the court.
Yeah,
mansion.
and what happens is that he actually, because all of a sudden, Rudy is like freaking the smartest guy in the whole galaxy. All of a sudden, he figures out that Jaime they can't separate the two anymore.
Right.
Like the scarab is
if they're trying to become one.
Yeah, and they can't. And so he would have to die
right.
in order to like separate one from the other. And that's what happens. At this time,
right.
when he's realizing that, immigration's knocking on the door.
Right. So then ICE shows up. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, actually, I think it was Cord military. And they want Jaime and the suit. So they show up and they attack the house and they grab Jaime. They shoot this thing at him to kind of like.
Well, that's when he shows up.
Oh, eventually he shows up.
But and before that,
right,
the dad,
right, the dad, and they're all out there fighting against the military special ops people from Cord, and the father is out there mixing it up, and he has a heart attack or something. Now he's struggling. So the old man dies. They take him off the helicopter, and he's crying for his daddy. And
yeah.
And he's screaming for dad, and they take him off. And then now they got Blue Beetle captured, so they take him off to their facility, wherever it is. Because
he eventually comes to try to rescue them. So so dad's journey has ended, and not even extra strength vapor rub can bring him back to life.
Well, that was the theme of this movie, where anything happens. If you feel a little under the weather, break out the vapor rub.
Hey, don't mess with Hispanic remedy.
So they go to the Cord mansion, and it's almost like the Bat Cave, where all this magical technology.
What?
It's all the alien technology, just like the Bat Cave. So, and there's a little spaceship, and isn't it funny how the spaceship looks just like a freaking Beetle? So original, And so Rudy gets in, and he knows how to pilot this shit. He goes, oh, I know this crafts.
This must be like a John Deere.
So he hops in it, and he knows how to fly this shit. So he's flying around like he knows this thing, like he was born to drive this thing. So he's flying around, and he goes, they take the ship, and now they got to retrieve Jaime. They got to save that boy's life.
Yeah,
so
and everybody goes. That's why.
Yeah,
like you said,
even Granny. We need Granny's, resources on this one too.
Everybody's wearing a seatbelt, man.
Yeah, SNA2 was like, oh, fasten up.
I've seen people going to work in trucks. There's like 10 of them. There's not one seatbelt. Like, but they're like fastened up, like so good, man.
These Mexicans are very law abiding.
They're like, we don't want to piss off immigration again. They already burned our house down.
If they're already in hot water with immigration, we gotta go push our luck.
We can't afford a ticket.
So they're fastened, buckled down, and everything. So they take off in this spaceship, looks like a Beetle, and then they gotta save Jaime. So they go to the place, and there's 10,000 soldiers fighting. And this guy, again, Rudy, knows the ins and outs of this thing. He knows how to fly it, and now this thing is like walking like a freaking insect. And he knows how to swipe these guys, swats them with his legs, this freaking Blue Beetle's legs, because he's that proficient with this thing. He just figured out how to drive.
And we also find out that Granny's going to be on John Wick 5 movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, mijo, you don't know about me.
Yeah.
The way it takes the freaking Gatling gun.
Oh, my God. The biggest, most ferocious weapon they have, Granny is an efficient killer with that shit. So Granny takes out the Gatling gun to save Jaime, and Jaime is like a pacifist. He wants to make sure nobody dies, nobody even gets a little boo-boo. So freaking Granny comes out with a Gatling and starts wasting people. She must have killed at least half a dozen guys. And not only does she kill them, but with a smile on her face. She's enjoying herself. She's like the good old days when she's served in Vietnam with John Rambo.
She let her hair down too, right? She's like, wow.
Yeah. These are the good old days.
You don't know this about me, mijo.
Back in '76, when I served with the Green Berets, this is how I used to wear my hair. Oh, it was so ridiculous. I want to say a good 10, 15 minutes of this movie speaking Spanish. And now Grumble and Grouch are two gringos who live in a cave. We don't know any Spanish. What are they saying? I don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't know. So, you know what? Would it kill you to put some subtitles so we can figure this shit out? No. It would kill them, I guess. No, let those fucking gringos suffer.
That's what you get.
Let them try to figure this shit out on their own.
That's what you get.
There's a dream sequence. So they're trying to separate the two, and he's like, sees his papa.
Oh,
and
papa.
he goes, papa. And then he goes, where have you been? And I have no idea because I've been speaking Spanish the entire time.
Grumble has no idea where papa has been.
Yeah, all I heard was John Deere and
and mijo.
And mijo.
We lost the casa.
Yeah, and I never saw such high grass.
It's over. Don't believe. The grass is much higher over here. Oh, mijo.
Oh, and then he's like fighting to save himself, and he jumps, and his fingertip touches.
This is like Michelangelo deep.
Yeah, that was very deep. I was like, wow, that's profound. Nonsense. I hated it. It was so funny too. Like when they got on the spaceship, they're like, oh, they stole this gear. Look at all this futuristic gear. And the fat sister,
Maribel
grabs this, like, it looks like the freaking glove from, what is it?
The
Nintendo 64. And he's pressing buttons, and the girl's like, well, no, press this button. So he goes, okay. Now she goes in the battle, and it has like a shield. She hits the shield button because she's getting blasted at. Like 10 guys are shooting at her. And then she gets shot in the arm because the shield can't cover her fat ass. And then Jennifer says, I told you to grab the extra, extra large. Because she only grabbed the XL.
She's like, which one of these buttons slapped the taco out of my hand? No surprise Maribel got shot.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. Some of her fat...
the shield wasn't white enough. She's like, ay, ay, ay.
She's like, ay, caramba.
And what we don't know, what you guys don't know, is that she got shot by grandma with the Gatling gun. She shot her own
That was like
bed,
collateral damage. I told you to get down, bitch.
Abuelita, you got me.
Pour some vapor up on that. You're good. She was back in the battle.
She had that thing in her little pocket.
Yeah. They always makes that vapor rub in their pockets.
She had the little poncho pocket.
Vapor rub in it. Extra strength vapor rub.
They probably dip themselves in vapor rub before they go into battle.
That's what Granny does. I know that.
Granny, you smell like vapor rub. It's like, honey, this has saved my life 1,000 times. Oh, another funny scene is like, so Miguel's about to die or something, but they keep calling this freaking helper Sanchez.
Oh.
And like, Sanchez eventually helps Miguel because they've been messing up this guy's name the whole time. He's like, I'm not freaking Sanchez.
Yeah, the whole movie, there's this scientist guy, and Susan Sarandon keeps calling him Sanchez. He's like, my name's not Sanchez. and then eventually, now, he literally, because he decided to help Jaime, it cost him his freaking life because he goes, oh, by the way, I'm saving you because I'm Mexican too. And he lets him out the door. And then Susan Sarandon's like, what the hell did you do? Sanchez. And he goes, my name is not Sanchez. It's bara.
Tropical.
He goes, now what? And then
she goes, okay, I'll show you now what. Now you die, bitch.
Yeah. And next scene you see his brain splatter all over the wall because Jose Calderon is dead.
Juan José María de las Cruces Altas.
De las Colinas Bajas. That's what it was. De la Cruz.
De la Cruz?
Yeah, it was De la Cruz.
Oh my God.
And that's the other thing too, is like, so the very end of the movie, now,
Thank God we're at the end of the movie. Yeah. Hurry up, man.
So Blue Beetle has Red Beetle on the ground.
Ooh.
And he's like, I got you.
Got me.
And he goes, and then he decides to, somehow the Blue Beetle can scan his memories. And you know what the problem was? It was the white man. It was the white people.
It's always the white
Yeah, damn white people. And even though he's not Mexican, close enough.
No, but he was from Guatemala.
He's a Guatemalan. Very, very important to know he's a Guatemalan. And he suffered shit. So now he needs to be able to get away with and do whatever he wants because he had a messed up childhood. But why didn't they go into Susan Sarandon's mind? Maybe she had a messed up childhood. Even though she's not Guatemalan or Mexican, she might have had some demons that she had to deal with. So let's let her go too. And so nobody should suffer all these deaths. Hey, she was raised pretty bad. And the Red Beetle was raised pretty bad too. So even though they kill like thousands of people, let them go.
Let's just go home.
Yeah. They got slapped on the tush when he was like 5. Let him go. What? Garbage, man. I hate it. It's stupid.
And Red Beetle eventually drags her over, and then he blows up.
Yeah.
And he blows all that technology up of like trying to make super soldiers.
Yeah.
And then Blue Beetle and gets away in the Whack Beetle.
You're right. The old climbing board.
And then Grandma's the freaking hero, the revolutionary. Once plots are like so simple. There's no surprises. This movie actually had no surprise because if you think about Black Adam, at least the statue wasn't about him. It was his son. You know what I mean? Like this movie had nothing. Like no surprise, no twist, no anything. It was just so basic. I thought it was like the most basic movie I've seen in a very, 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 very long time. Even Barbie had a freaking more complicated plot than this.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's just, I just think that this was just like the bottom of the barrel. You know what? I kept hearing, if this movie came out 10 years ago, people would love it. I'm like, why? I don't understand the logic behind it. If it came out 10 years ago, people would love. No, I just think even if it came out 10. To be honest, I think people look worse at it because it came out 10 years ago. Maybe because the CGI is solid. That's the only thing I can think of why people would be like, oh, this is pretty good. But other than that, the writing was abysmal, horrible writing. It's just almost written for like children. Even children, I think, would see this is not good. This is
I think they just want our money. Episode 12, I think this is the most basic movie we've seen. There's no twist. There's nothing. It's just linear. It's just bad. I thought it was.
And that's I totally agree.
And I like the guy.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. There was one good scene, and the good scene was that I like when they play the. I don't know if our audience, Mr. Grown, is familiar with like Cypress Hill. But it was like a nice little Cypress Hill song, and Blue Beetle's kicking butt all by himself. I like that scene. I thought that scene was pretty good. That doesn't justify $16 at a movie theater.
Yeah, no.
Or for me to go word of mouth, be like, hey, you got to go see Blue Beetle. No, it doesn't. Like, no, it really doesn't.
Yeah, there was nothing inventive, original, interesting about this movie.
I like the guy.
Listen, to be honest, Grouch
We watched Cobra Kai.
Grouch and I are huge Cobra Kai fans. We loved Karate Kid 1, 2, 3, and the Cobra Kai series. We absolutely love it. And I told Grouch, I think he would make a great superhero, but this is not for him. Give this guy another role because the writing, the special effects were completely fine. I don't have no problem with the special effects. I just think the writing was just so childish and so poor that I don't care who the main character is. It could be, I think you can cast Robert Downey Jr. in this movie and it would be a freaking flop. I don't care who the main actor is. So it's no slight on this actor. I just think that he was in a poorly written movie, and I hope that they can find another role for this guy because I think he is a great actor, great personality. I'd love to see him something else, but this was not for him. Not for anyone. This is just a bad, bad movie. So the end of the movie, he beats Red Beetle.
But not even beats him up, just makes him realize that they're not bad guys. Yeah. And that the lady is the bad girl or whatever. And everything goes back to normal. And Encanto, just like Encanto ends, the neighborhood helps them rebuild the house or whatever.
Right. I'm going to give this movie...
dun, 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 dun.
Remember when I said... I want Ant-Man to have one by itself. I'm taking that back. Ant-Man is now having company with this movie. This is a 1 out of 10 absolute garbage. Nothing could save this movie for me. Not even freaking Cobra Kai, Miguel.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, listen, Margot Robbie was in it, is immediately a 2. I cannot give her a 1 for anything. So I give this movie a 1 out of 10. Horrendous. Pass. Do not watch this movie. Ugh. If it came out 10 years ago or 100 years ago, it would still be a 1. I don't care what Critical Drinker, any motherfucker said. This is a 1 out of 10. Do not watch it. Avoid it at all costs.
Well, you already know what I'm going to give it, so skip all the drama. Unwatchable.
Another 2 in a row to unwatchables.
Unwatchable.
Listen, this is that last week was your first unwatchable, so this one's also unwatchable.
Like for real unwatchable, yeah. Listen, I like this guy, but unwatchable, man. And on that note, the Grumble and Grouchy Show.